Hello, my name is Luis Montestruque. I'm a senior advisor at Xylem, a global water technology leader. This year marks the 25th anniversary of the Stockholm Junior Water Prize. This amazing program was created by CIWI to encourage students to help solve water challenges around the globe. And their passion and talents are very inspiring. This milestone anniversary made me reflect on why it's so important that we encourage the next generation to become water innovators. And it made me reflect on my own innovator's journey, the topic of this talk. Thank you for joining me. If you have questions during this session, you can leave them in the chat and we'll reach out to you after the event. Let me start by taking you back in time about 16 years. It's November 2005 and I'm laying on the ground face down in the middle of a street in South Bend, Indiana, about an hour east of Chicago. In fact, I'm actually dangling head first into a sewer manhole, attempting to hang a sensor from underneath a manhole cover. It's a very long way from where I come from. I've gone from studying missile control systems to sewer systems. And I am about to install the first sensor in what will become the world's first smart sewer system. It's a culmination of years of work, of years of teamwork from a group spanning a public water utility, 2 universities, a startup, and a host of other collaborators. And the stakes are very high. You see, South Bend at the time was facing a major challenge. Virtually every time it rained heavily, the city's sewer would overflow into the St. Joseph River, the lifeblood of the city, because the old sewer system could not handle the excess discharge. A shocking 1 to 2 billion gallons of sewer water, full of human waste, was spilled into the river and the local ecosystem every year. The city wanted to do more to control the problem, and the regulators were demanding they take action. But the cost of digging a new sewer system or even a new storage for wastewater was prohibitive. In fact, the long-term control plan was estimated at more than $860 million, a burden of about $10,000 per citizen. So the city of South Bend set out to find a different way to address the challenge under the leadership of Public Works Director Gary Gillott and subsequently Eric Horvath. An approach that was more affordable and more sustainable for their community. Together, this team of innovators looked to develop a bold, new way to revolutionize how cities tackle overflowing sewers by leveraging sensing technology and artificial intelligence to help cities manage overflows and pollution like never before. On that day, I remember the exact moment when I realized the sensor was working. I climbed out of the manhole, and my teammate and fellow innovator, Jim Rugaber, and I were sitting on the ground staring at our laptop. And suddenly, we saw the screen fill up as a stream of sensor data began to flow in. It was an extraordinary moment because we knew we just opened up a whole new world of possibilities. We knew that being able to collect data meant that one day we will be able to turn that data into insight. And that would allow us not just to monitor the sewer overflows, but actually predict and prevent them. We could protect the mighty St. Joe River from pollution and protect the local ecosystem. Our team's vision of an optimized wastewater network was beginning to come to life. When I tell this story, people often ask me about the technology. They focus on the AI and the algorithms. But there is another critical catalyst to innovation, one that doesn't often get the headlines, but should. It's the force behind every new idea and every major technology breakthrough. It turns possibilities into actual solutions for communities and the people they serve. It is the power of partnering. Because what I've experienced over and over since that day in 2005 is that innovation is not about a singular idea or an algorithm or a solution. It's certainly not about a single person or organization. It is about the ability to constantly find new ways to solve problems. And the best way to do that is to bring together a diverse group of talented, passionate people who will stop at nothing to make bold innovation happen. That's what I want to focus on today. The lessons I've learned about how to create the kind of partnerships that fuel those solutions and allow you to keep innovating day in and day out. What I've learned is that the innovator's journey starts and thrives with partnering. Before I go any further, let me briefly share how I came to the water sector. After growing up in Peru, I came to the US for graduate school. It was just a few years after the 9/11 terror attacks, and I was working on the Department of Defense project as a PhD at Notre Dame, researching wireless sensor networks for military applications, specifically sensors that detect and record the position of enemy combatants in GPS-denied areas, and then use AI to forecast the movement of a gas agent plume in urban environments. And then one day, I learned that my brilliant university professors and mentors were working on applying military-focused technologies to solving environmental challenges. I was instantly intrigued and energized by their ideas. I could see the environmental problems happening in South Bend due to their flooding and pollution issues. I wanted to be part of the solution too. So, with their guidance and support, I decided to entirely change my career path right after I graduated. In many ways, this was a difficult decision, shifting gears at a time where I had very little money and bills were mounting. But my professors and everyone I met in the water sector, including the Department of Public Works of South Bend, were so welcoming and collaborative. So in 2004, I founded a startup called MNet, not part of the global water technology provider Xylem. With my professors from the university, we applied for and received a grant to explore how we could leverage technology to help with South Bend sewer overflow problem. And I began my career as a water innovator and entrepreneur. What I saw happening across the water sector was innovation in the broadest sense, coming from all corners: utilities, nonprofits, tech providers, angel investors, communities. I saw a powerful cross-pollination of ideas creating the future of water, and a network of people inspired and connected by a common purpose: solving water challenges to help their communities and all of those who lived in them. I could feel the possibilities, and I was able to quickly get traction in a world totally new to me because of the generosity of the mentors and partners I met. I felt so fortunate to have found a career in water. And this taught me the first lesson I want to share today about the innovator's journey. Build a web of great people around you, mentors, partners, and collaborators. You will help one another achieve much more together than you could ever on your own. And be a mentor for someone else, especially a young innovator deciding whether or not to bring their talents to the water sector. Be the person who inspires them to join our cause. So our team continued to explore and develop our concept for a state-of-the-art wastewater optimization network, working alongside the City of South Bend and our University of collaborators. Our goal was to create a smart sewer network that will help communities solve sewer overflows without having to build new and expensive storage capacity. By installing sensors underground in the sewer system, we would be able to monitor the levels of stormwater and wastewater, and then leverage AI to detect and even predict overflow events, and redirect excess flows before they spilled over into local waterways. By doing this, the city could protect its ecosystem while avoiding having to pay millions of dollars in capital project costs. It was a powerful vision that we passionately believed in. The challenge was we didn't know exactly how to achieve it, but we knew it needed to get done. The need for bold new ways to control sewer flows has intensified in recent years. In the US alone, more than 700 cities across the country discharge close to 1 trillion gallons of untreated wastewater to water bodies. So solving this problem was more important than ever. One day, we were having a meeting at the Department of Public Works in South Bend, and someone from our team walked through our thinking. And it became clear that the control strategy we were then envisioning was going to be too complex. And then I heard Gary Gillott, then Public Works Director, turn around and relay how the system would operate to one of his colleagues. He described it in his own way, making analogies to a stock exchange. And just as Gary said those words, a light went off in our heads. We realized we could make our solution work like a stock market with supply and demand curves. We could design a system that would essentially trade sewer water back and forth underground from one pipe that begins to fill up during a storm and is in danger of overflowing to another pipe in another part of the city with extra capacity to keep the sewer water levels in check and prevent overflows. The stock exchange concept provided the clarity we needed in our methodology. We went running back to the office and whiteboarded how it would work for hours. After that, it all just fell into place. We were there to solve our client problem, and they had the key that unlocked it for us. It was an amazing moment, and the second lesson I have to share about the innovator's journey. Look for visionary partners, and when you find them, listen to them. Implementing great solutions is 80% listening and 20% doing. Making the methodology work was a critical step forward, allowing us to move from concept stage to pilot solution. And it was during this time that I learned some of the most valuable lessons about the intrinsic relationship between innovation and partnering. I've told you earlier about my experience dangling down a manhole in South Bend to install and test the first sensor in their sewer system. The joy of realizing that the sensor was working and seeing the first data come in. It was an amazing feeling. So after we got the sensors up and running, the next step was to accelerate the development of the smart sewer network. It was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. At the center of our approach was our commitment to co-development, that is working with our client, the City of South Bend and its Public Works Department, to study and learn the unique challenges they faced. We met frequently to brainstorm and test different models, and through that constant collaboration, we began to work through once intractable problems, one by one. In 2008, we reached another major milestone, installing sensors throughout the entire city. I remember the day we began activating the system, neighborhood by neighborhood, giving unprecedented visibility into the sewer water levels and rain and flooding patterns. We were literally turning on the lights to give the city a holistic view of its network. 2 years later, still working closely with the city, we had taken the next step, designing and implementing the technology and valves to actually redirect the excess water from the sewer to other underground storage locations with extra capacity to help avoid overflows altogether. Another exciting development came a few years later. By that point, we have accumulated a treasure chest of data, and we're able to build a groundbreaking digital twin of the wastewater network. With real-time data and insight from past storm events, we could truly predict and prevent overflows and continuously learn and improve performance. Our vision had become a reality, an implemented solution that has made an extraordinary difference for our clients and their communities. Since that time, the city of South Bend has cut combined sewer overflow volumes by more than 70%, or roughly 1 billion gallons per year. E. coli concentrations in the St. Joseph River have dropped by more than 50% on average, improving the water quality. And South Bend is expected to save approximately $500 million in capital savings. This brings me to the third lesson on driving innovation, and that is to tap into the power of co-development. We saw this again and again in the years of bringing our wastewater optimization network from a pilot to implementation. When you bring together a diverse group of passionate, creative thinkers with a common goal, innovation is unstoppable. Fast forward several years, the partnership between the City of South Bend, our startup, and Notre Dame is continuing to make a major difference for the people and the environment of South Bend, saving money while preventing billions of gallons of water from entering the environment. And we are now leveraging the same technology to help nearly 30 other cities. But we're determined to scale so we can help even more. We know we have an incredible opportunity to bring these solutions to more cities in North America and around the globe. We also know we cannot do it alone. Enter Xylem. Around that time, we were fortunate enough to meet Al Cho, today's Chief Digital Officer at Xylem, at an industry event. And he was very interested in hearing more about our business and our solution. For an entrepreneur, the decision to engage with a major technology company like Xylem was incredibly thrilling and also somewhat intimidating. But as our team got to know some of the people at Xylem, we quickly grew more comfortable. There was one particular moment when it all seemed to click. My colleague Tim Braun and I were visiting Xylem's headquarters in Westchester, New York, and we had the chance to meet with Al and with Xylem's CEO, Patrick Decker, to learn more about the company. Both seem incredibly down to earth, and in keeping with our motto that we have developed for our own startup, modestly awesome. As Patrick was telling us about Xylem's tagline, "Let's solve water," I literally got a shiver down my spine. The way he explained it, how the let's meant let us, a collective and inclusive call to action. Let's see how we can do this together. It's a very powerful rally cry. But the reason I reacted so strongly is because that was literally the mission of our own team. Nearly the same wording. We can solve water. I looked at my colleague Tim Braun and we just shook heads. This was a company whose very values we shared. Like us, they were committed to solving water, one of the greatest sustainability challenges of our time, and being a successful business while doing so. We were so excited to be acquired by Xylem in 2018, and we have never looked back. Today, as part of the Xylem family of digital solutions, we're bringing our technology and expertise all over the world. Partnering with water operators, we're helping them apply AI-powered insights to visualize their network behavior and then optimize their existing assets and build digital solutions that continuously learn and improve. Together, we're helping them save time, energy, and costs, and making their communities more resilient and sustainable. As for South Bend, we continue to partner and drive progress together. In fact, we are now moving forward with the city to apply this same digital twin technology to their wastewater treatment plant. This brings me to the fourth lesson on the innovator's journey I want to share with you. Look for partners who share your values. And when you find one, don't be afraid to do something big together and find bold new ways to bring your ideas to the world. In conclusion, build a web of great people around you, mentors, partners, and collaborators. And be a mentor yourself. Help inspire and empower the next generation of innovators. Number 2, look for visionary partners and listen to them. They always have something to teach you, and you always have something to learn. Number 3, collaborate with your partners early and often. The most successful projects I've worked on have all come from co-development. And number 4, when you are looking to scale, find a partner who share your values and think big. These are 4 lessons I've learned about innovation and partnering and the intrinsic value between the two. But there's one 5th and final lesson to leave you with, and it's this. In many ways, the title of this talk, The Innovator's Journey, is a misnomer. It should really be Innovators, plural, journey. This mental shift opens up extraordinary new possibilities and makes all the difference. Now more than ever, bold thinking and creative approaches are driving the water sector forward. That means our work as water innovators is more important than ever before. The job for each of us is to keep pushing the boundaries and to help pull the curtain back on our industry's story of transformation so that we can continue to attract the brightest minds and brilliant ideas, so that we can continue to drive innovation and create a more sustainable world. Thank you very much.